Well, I'd take a couple seconds here and just take a moment and reflect here on what an incredible opportunity. With the stock market being at its current levels, it's taken me a little bit of an opportunity to take somewhat of a pause, a little bit. Not a lot of activity in the stock market right here. You guys are going to find that as much as YouTube wants to drill down on the investing opportunity and make it kind of a day-to-day, week-to-week type of exercise, you're going to find that my approach hopefully is refreshing to a lot of people, because the investing opportunity really does need to be looked at over the course of an entire lifetime. Now, you're going to immerse yourself into this project, or you're going to participate as an investor on its surface. And I think the real idea is to bring the community together to try to identify those opportunities for all people. And I've got a special guest actually backstage that I'm going to bring on here just shortly. It just speaks to the strength of the community here. I just get an absolute kick when people come on and they say, hey, thank you. I really appreciate it. 3.5 years I've been building this channel, and got some shout outs tonight. I'm one of them. I just went over 1,000 views on my podcast. That's a real special project for me because I'm able to get somewhat personal on that product. It's garnered some attention from some interesting entities. So where the independent investor channel goes from here is it's going to be very, very exciting. And I will insist that the audience is with me along that journey. And hopefully you guys entrust me as an ambassador of self-directed investing. I think the idea of taking control of your own money is in and of itself scary for a lot of people. For me, it's commonplace. It's the only thing that makes sense. And I can ebb and flow with the market just as well as anybody. And it gives you 100% control over your money. And I think that's a prospect that has been evolving, and really until the last 5 years has started to really accelerate. And there's never been a better time to be an investor. I really do feel that way. If you're in your late teens and you're in your early 20s and you're making your way onto this opportunity, minus those folks in their late teens and early 20s that are some pretty darn savvy investors, if you're making your way to the investing opportunity, we would like to think that we provide an open door here. And if you feel like the investing opportunity is a closed door for you, allow this opportunity to open that door for you. I can't imagine my life without investing. I can't. It makes me a much better steward of all my other disciplines. It really does. And some of those other disciplines actually render myself to be a better investor. It really does. The fact that I do hold a 9-to-5 job does render some success for myself. And never made six figures in my life. I don't know what it would feel like to make that kind of money. I know there's a lot of high income earners in the group here who may just be as savvy as me, or maybe they're a mess with their personal finances. No judgments here. No judgments whatsoever. I think the idea is to identify from the top to the bottom, especially in the community that I represent, that everybody can improve. Everybody has opportunity to evolve with their program. Some shout outs in the night go to Matt Money first and foremost. Just crossed over the 500,000 mark. Not surprised a bit, but a big kudos to Matt. I haven't known Matt for the entire duration of the Independent Investor channel, but I can tell you from a personal perspective that the first time I was able to come across Matt and his message, sincere, and definitely is an ambassador for those young folks. Matt's in his 20s. If I was in my 20s, I would be motivated. So for all those people, Matt's a friend of mine. But I'm almost more excited for the people who can come on and hear Matt's perspective. It is a singular perspective, just like mine is. But I think we're breaking down a lot of barriers to entry in the stock market. And like myself, Matt also has a 9-to-5 job. Like Matt, I have a voice. And I typically like to keep this voice in my back pocket. For you guys that don't ever foresee yourself starting a YouTube channel, use me as your voice, okay? Because I would love nothing more than for people to come and sit across from my message and feel like they're talking to somebody real. Because in this world now, it's seemingly all scripted. And it's all with the support of teleprompters. The news media will have you believe what it is that they want to inundate you to believe. And I think social media is somewhat changing the game a little bit. I was rapping a little bit with my guest, Mike, before we came on. And I can remember a time when cell phones didn't exist. I had a friend of mine in high school. His father was a real estate agent, and he was the coolest thing since sliced bread because he had a car phone. Y'all remember those? And how the times have changed. So not only am I a student of investing, but I'm also an ambassador of where investing is going for a lot of people. And my break on the stock market, we've run up fairly significant since the March 23 lows. I'm satisfied to sit on some of my nice positions. Obviously, for you guys that follow me across a lot of different social media platforms, really do know that I do hold one remaining SPAC in my portfolio. It'll remain there. I'm extremely bullish and highly on. I've never invested in a company that I've been so excited to learn about and really understand where both management companies are coming from. Obviously, Tortoise acquisition will kind of fade away here once the merger is complete. I anticipate within the next couple of weeks. That's just my presumption. I could be wrong. It could be all the way to the end of September, but nonetheless, we're holding strong there. I had Braveheart come into my my Facebook group and give a stock recommendation on Hyliion, which is traded under the ticker symbol SHLL. I would highly encourage you guys, if you're making your way to my message, to really enjoy the totality of the message. You're going to want to make your way to the Facebook group. You're going to want to make your way to the podcast. We have 2 websites, and they're starting to gain some traction. IndependentInvestorGroup.com is turning out about as much work as I can possibly do. I've got established multiple Zoom meetings. Super excited about that. Super excited for the prospects of changing somebody's life, right? If we can just improve upon those things that people think that are impossible for themselves, and they actually humble themselves and they come to the opportunity and they're like, maybe this will help me. I think from the start of that meeting to the end of meeting, I think people are really understanding the value of entrusting some life coaching into that opportunity. Because let's be real, guys, personal finance is really foreign to a lot of people. It really is. Man, for me, I can't remember a time where this stuff didn't make sense to me. And that's why I engage more on the philosophical side of investing, because I think the more you get the money thing right, the more fulfilling the rest of your life will actually be. And I find it ironic, the majority of people out there who don't make personal finance, i.e. money, more of a topic in their life, actually spend more time than necessary thinking about the topic of money. because they're struggling to make those ends meet. And in a country like the U.S., especially, this is a global channel here on the Independent Investor Channel. The opportunities here are abound, and I think somewhat of a responsibility to advocate for the 9-to-5 worker out there. I'm an advocate of the entrepreneur as well. Quite frankly, I'm kind of an advocate of success in and of itself. A shout out to Gen X dividend investor who just passed over the 10,000 mark. You see the surprise on my face. Well deserved. Well deserved. Probably changed my life for the better as well. Some of the personal things are some of the things I pick up on. The stock analysis and his deep dive into stops are second to none. They're second to none. Nobody compares. I don't think anybody's close, to be honest with you. Matt does a really good job. I hold Matt in real high regard. And Kyle actually as well is a very, very good stock analyzer. There's a lot of good stock analyzers in this group for sure. I like the way Jason with JMac Investing does his research as well. But one thing you'll understand is that we're not cut from the same cloth. We apply our application and our discipline a little bit different. And it'll be really fun to kind of see where some of these channels go into the future. But for those folks that are here in the U.S., I do think that the backbone of a 9-to-5 job is not one of those things that needs to be scoffed at. I've been a hard worker. My first job, I was 14 years old and worked for my baseball coach's landscaping depot when I was 14. I made $5 an hour under the table. I hope nobody comes after me for that. But it's worth taking the risk to kind of drive home the point that there's a lot more inherent benefit to hard work over the course of your life. Dedication, camaraderie, things like that. Of course, access to healthcare, things that are not really as sexy to the young 20-year-olds out there looking to cut teeth nowadays, and they're being pulled in every which direction. Hey, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to get the Lambo. You got to get the Lambo. Right, Eric? A shout out to my boy, Mr. Benoit. That's our joke, right? The new age nowadays, man, they don't think you're successful unless you're tripping and falling into your Lamborghini. I don't know. Maybe that's true. Maybe times are changing, and maybe I need to stop investing like the Gen Xer I am, right? But I think there's certainly something to be had about the other side of the coin, that of which I wish to put a lot of importance on: family, spiritual well-being, health and well-being, those types of things, all of which can contribute to your financial health over the long term. That's for sure. But seemingly it sometimes gets a little bit nauseating to me when I check over the entire investing landscape and there's people just saying, okay, I'm quitting my 9-to-5 job. I'm going full-time YouTube. And that's fabulous. I wish you all the success in the world. I think this, like investing, like anything in life, needs to be done with some level of care and some level of acknowledgement to whether or not this is a true passion of yours. Because my true passion exists when I'm sitting across from somebody and they're saying, what do you think about this, Ryan? That's my true passion. Okay? It has really nothing to do with the money, and it has nothing to do with the subscribers. I can tell you that. If it had everything to do with the subscribers, I'd probably just roll out 12 Hyliion videos a day. I'd probably be at 100,000 subscribers already. I don't think that's necessary. And the people that I'm trying to appeal to anyway would probably recognize that organic growth on a channel is so much better than manufactured growth, in my opinion. And you guys really do all play a part in that. Just want to take a second and give a shout out as well, GW Life as well, GW ETF channel. I like it. It's really cool, man. I've kind of seen Jerry come up through the ranks as far as a new investor, and I think Jerry's evolving with a style that's going to work for him. And it's kind of funny because I look at every one of you guys, and it's like, yeah, everybody's got a starting point at some place in their life, and the starting point isn't when you buy your first stock, and it's not when you buy your first ETF. It's when you flip the script up here and you start to say, I can do this. And you start to say, I want this. And you start to have hope. And you start to have hope enough to where it starts to weigh on you enough to where you're like, what can I do to foster this hope? And you really do have some insight to understanding that you have one shot. You got one shot. So you definitely want to make the best of it on all platforms. Okay. If the Lamborghini's going to make you happy, go ahead and pursue. That's totally fine. I don't know if I would go with that route. The NSX is pretty awesome. I did pass one of the new 2020 Corvettes coming home. Those are pretty sick. Those are pretty sick. If I ever have one in my life, that would be cool. If I don't, that would be cool too. All right. And that's the perspective that I would wish on each and every one of you guys that have made your way into the group. Dave, who's a featured channel of mine, shout out to Dave with Hidden Freedom Investing as well. If you guys are first time to the channel, you guys know that I roll nonstop for the fastest 60 minutes on YouTube. No coffee, no chai tea tonight, just me, level-headed, giving some perspectives in on the stock market right now. My foot is off the accelerator. So moving into an election a couple months away, I'm paying attention. It's got my attention. I'm not taking any new huge positions right here. I'm enjoying being an investor as a dividend growth investor. I'm enjoying looking at my portfolio. Disney dip was short-lived. That's almost back in the black. Johnson & Johnson has been on fire. Yeah, Hyliion has been great, but that's a speculative play with some fundamentals and research backing it. Okay, but you want to make sure that you're keeping those positions in check and making sure that you're not entering into those positions exclusively in your portfolio. All right, you want to have fun with investing. You want to get close enough to the fire of investing to keep yourself warm, not get burned. All right. So super, super important, guys. So I'm gonna bring on Mike here as my guest tonight. I'd like to hear a little bit more about Mike. These opportunities, guys, I roll out every single Friday. Just like a lot of opportunities, man. There's the group, there's the Facebook group for free. There's this opportunity for free. Twitter, Instagram, uploads to YouTube as well, and the podcast. So we really do provide a lot of opportunity, this being one of them. And I'm so stoked to have Mike on tonight to say hi. I'm going to pop Mike on and I'm going to try to address some of these questions in the group, guys. So welcome to the live stream, guys. Mike, you got me okay? You got you live. Very cool.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing superb, man. How long have you been with the channel, Mike?
Oh, at least a year. I got introduced to you from Ryan Scribner, actually.
Sure. Are you getting anything? Are you getting anything out of it?
Yeah, I really like your message, Ryan. Like very consistent, like very even. The community is great. It just seems like everybody's like in the same boat and striving for the same thing.
That's really nice. That's a really nice thing to say. The community is great. I just think it's an interesting way of attacking investing to have that support structure. I had a lot of people coming to me and they were like, you said a few things during the March downturn that gave me that hope to hold on. And I was like, whoa. I've been doing that for years, man. You weren't prepared. But until it happens, people aren't really, they say, yeah, I can handle it. I can handle it. And then when it happens, it's like, I don't know if I can handle this. And unlike being with a financial planner who's being inundated with phone calls during times like this, and they're going through the same spiel with everybody, it really is nice to have this is a very like-minded community. that of which I would like to pursue relationships with. I mean, there's some grumblings of hitting up Vegas someday, and
Yeah.
I see that I see that happening, man. I really do. So you've been with the channel about a year. What style of investing are you pursuing, Mike, by chance?
I'm probably more on the conservative side. I about this time last year, we were in a totally different, stock market environment, and I know you
Yeah.
were saying that you're going to see a different posture from me when things change. And I remember, like around the March timeframe, I think we had that really big dip, and I know you had like a special video I remember, and just I think you took a more aggressive posture when we had that. That was really interesting, like to see that, and I know you're kind of preparing us, like it's not always going to be this way, and you'll see a different side of me when things change.
Yeah, and it's really, I have to be very careful with that. I'm just trying to give people my insights, and investing has become a lot more volatile. It seems like we can't go through a day without up two or 300 or down two or 300. I remember days in the Dow where an up 15 day was 15 points was
Yeah,
a huge day. It was like, whoa, to see green on the scale. And now I'm having to kind of evolve with the times a little bit. And, a billion company at that time was like a big deal. Now
yeah,
we're talking trillion and multiple $1 trillion of market cap in some of these companies. And I want to really tread carefully for people and make sure that they understand that I'm really not trying to time the market. I'm
yeah.
trying to just get kind of a realistic pulse of the market. For example, when I looked at the March lows, when I looked at it objectively without emotion, I was like,
Uh,
okay, I'm going to take a strategic stab. Now, could it have went down to 16, 15, 14, 13? Sure. Nobody could have called the bottom, myself included. But what it gave us was an indication of where it had been and where it had gone. The tricky part was that it happened so violently. And so new investors, myself included, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I was like, wow, this is lovely. I'm down 60 grand. This is awesome. You
yeah,
know, but tried and true to a program, no matter if you've got 10,000 at risk, no matter if you've got that 500,000 that Matt has, you really do have to follow suit. And I think that support can help a lot of investors. I really do.
yeah. I think what I try to practice is just like scaling into the market, like um, no matter how much you have, big or little, spreading that out so that way you're not, blowing it all at once, and kind of the dollar cost averaging. I'm a believer in that. But yeah, uh, you're right. You can't time the market. Yeah.
Well, you can't time the market. And I think that's a good way of entering the market with scale. But I'm kind of a big believer on working on multifaceted pillars in your
Okay.
investment. So I'm a big advocate of cash. And then we could go into, okay, well, investing in the stock market per se can take on a couple different forms. I would contend that there's not an infinite number of programs out there. If you can just divide it into the two categories of being a passive investor and pursuing your index fund investing, your ETF investing. I mean, I got clobbered on my ARK ETF investing video, which I really didn't intend for that. It's great for YouTube because to strike up that controversy is great for me. La-di-da. That's not really what I was trying to do. I
Yeah.
think ARK investing ETFs can work for a lot of people.
Sure.
It just all you have to do is ask yourself, does this investment make sense for me? And then proceed carefully, okay? Because you're probably going to have to deal with understanding the holdings within that. So once you decide if you're going to be a passive investor, that's a really easier road to follow. And then the active investor on the other side, which gets you into some single stock opportunity and things like that. And for a lot of people, they're like, well, I have a 401k. What style makes sense for me? And it's like, well, you just kind of answered it yourself. Use the 401k or the 403 or the 457 to help justify further layers in your program. So if you've
Yeah.
already got that passive base, that can kind of help you and say, well, maybe I want to pursue a more active profile. Or if you don't have that, maybe you're self-employed, maybe you want to manufacture some of that passive base in your portfolio. You know, I've always looked at it, Mike, as a wealth building initiative, and I think a lot of people can resonate with that. When people say, "Oh, come to the Independent Investor channel, he'll teach you how to be an investor," I really don't like that message. I really like people to come on it and really start to think about building wealth for themselves and asking themselves, what makes sense for me? How can I start on this? How can I get my fitness right? How can I get my debt under control? Things like that, you know?
Yeah, I always liked, the best advice I always got was, take what you like, leave what you don't like. I mean, everyone comes from different positions, backgrounds, and you're right. Like everyone's got different risk tolerances. So, yeah, I mean, it's the community. I know it's very diverse, and some different styles. And, I definitely have picked up some stuff from your channel as well as the others. You mentioned Matt Money, and
Oh,
of
yeah.
course, Max is. I mean, his videos are like crazy.
Yeah. He works pretty hard on those. I'm a YouTube content creator, and to be honest with you, I don't spend I don't spend that much time on mine. I don't have the time to spend, and it's much more important for me to get the message and the intent out in big bunches. That's the way I roll. And
Yeah,
if you pay attention, I've been very careful to roll out content in such a manner that ensures that the viewer will end up better by consuming the message, and that at the end of the day, I can sleep easy knowing that that's the product I push. I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. I'm
yeah,
not trying to push people into things that they're uncomfortable with. What I want to do is push people to become a better you. I want them to be a better person, and investing is a part of that. Okay, like if you've heard me say before, investing isn't an excuse to be a disaster and everything else in your life, and because you're a great investor, that somehow means you're a great person. No, it just means that you're a great investor, and those other aspects of your life, maybe you can spend a little bit more time on once you get the money thing kind of working. It's
absolutely.
important. Just, life is a blessing, man. It's such a blessing. And we were talking backstage before you came on, Mike. I popped on from a guy who's been subscribing to the channel for about a year from UK, from England last week. And just what a cool opportunity. I do stay on for a few minutes. So if I do drop the link in here, you guys are welcome to kick on afterwards and kind of rap with me. I love it, man. I really do. I love connecting with people. I love the word diverse because money in and of itself, even though it does come in different currencies, okay, that's the diversity in and of itself with money, is that other countries deal with different currencies. But I really do try to strike at the discipline piece, in that disciplines, even as bad as Americans are with spending, we can kind of cross compare and say, let's look at the Europeans and how they spend money and how they look at credit. They look at credit completely different than we do. And I don't want to step out of line because I'm not European. I have European roots, and I'm completely American. And I'm very hard on the American lifestyle because there's so much sense of entitlement in this country. It's unfortunate. And I do think it'll be a lot of people's demise later on in life, where they look back and they say, you know what, I wish I would have had a little bit more discipline because I really didn't need all that stuff. Society said I needed it, but I really didn't need it,
Yeah, I wish I could go back. My 16-year-old self, like, I mean, putting so much money into car accessories, and I mean,
Yep.
gosh, it's just, I did
Yep.
some investing then, but I wish I could tell my old self, hey, you don't need those new taillights or, what have you.
For
Yeah.
sure. For
But
sure.
Ryan, I think I'm gonna hop off here. I want to thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for all
Yep.
you do. Thank you, Ryan.
Abs- Absolutely, my man. I really appreciate it, Mike. It means a lot when the subscribers come on, man, and say hello. So all the best to you, man. Enjoy the rest of the stream, man. Chill out, lay back, catch some comments, man. Very cool. Appreciate
Thanks,
it, Mike.
Ryan.
Be well. Be well. Yeah, so that's just one of the many examples when people come and I get to put a face with a name, and that's really what it's all about. It's just a small treat for me to kind of really acknowledge. And we had a fantastic discussion in my WhatsApp group. That's part of the independentinvestorgroup.com. That shop, it's the site is through Shopify, um, and had some help from some friends on that. And I just can't be more proud of that product for sure. So we're engaging in some incredible wealth building initiatives there. Did some coaching the beginning of this week, had a little advanced discussion on Hyliion. I feel like I've got to know Mr. Bob, who's in the group and has just been a loyal subscriber. And it's so cool to take it to that next level and really connect with people and understand where they're coming from. I think it makes me a better financial coach. I really do. If I can really understand where you're coming from, I can know what questions to ask and really where to challenge you as well. And I think if you take that challenge opportunity to a place where somebody feels uncomfortable too soon, you'll lose them. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that we have that rapport. It's one of my favorite words with people. Have rapport. It's different than when you just meet somebody for the first time and you're kind of unsure and you're like, hey, how's it going? Hey, this is my name. Where are you coming from? This and that. But when you start to really get to know somebody, where they're coming from, why they're doing what they're doing, very, very exciting stuff, man. And the prospects become incrementally greater by solidifying those relationships, man. And it just goes to team building 101. You gotta go through the storming and the forming before you get to the norming and the performing. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. I also believe that together we're significantly stronger as a group than we could ever be as individuals. So ironically, this being the independent investor channel calls for a bunch of singular investors to take control of their own singular personal finances. But collectively, this is a great opportunity, a great drop point for people to come in, say hello, grab a little piece of support. Just please understand that this product is going to be long-standing. It's not going anywhere. I'll continue to do this. Once I do hang up my 9 to 5, I don't plan on doing that for another 15 years. I'll do 30 strong. And when I walk away, I'll walk away on my terms. And I've rubbed shoulders with a lot of very, very incredible people, some of the best people in my career, and some people that would have your back in anything. And what I've always wished for those people, and I've seen them come and I've seen them go, so some are no longer around anymore. But man, when those people walk, all I ever wish for those people that I respect the most is to walk on their own terms and to look back on their opportunity with as little regrets as possible. You bet. You bet. So very cool, man. I'm going to scour through some of the comments here and just quickly highlight some of the folks in the group here. Michael Babcock says Exxon's out. That was interesting. That I didn't see any news on that, and CRM is M. That surprised me. I wasn't sure if you missed Honeywell. I think Honeywell was added to the Dow. I could be wrong on that. I saw Honeywell take a nice bump here. Hell, Exxon took a nice bump today, to be honest with you. So yeah, kind of a shot in the arm. I'm not worried at all. I'm interested in the Guyana project, and I invested in ExxonMobil many years ago for that, and I'm totally fine with that. I continue to draw some killer dividend income off of ExxonMobil. I'm a long shareholder in the stock. I'm good here. Just like a lot in the portfolio, I'm really satisfied. I don't look over the landscape, and I'm super content with my move in Apple. I'm totally fine. I sold it pre-split. I just think here at 38 times, it's too expensive. And there's going to be some schools of thought that say, Ryan, that's wrong. You're wrong. Okay, well, listen, at some point, you can't just take all rules of discipline and throw them the hell out the window. You can't do that. All right. You have to set up some parameters of some rules and pay attention to some of the bigger portfolios in this group. Gen X, Dividend Investor, Matt Money, myself, we all abide by some level of parameter, that of which we're comfortable with, and we don't deviate very often. Gen X never deviates. I think Matt's cool because he shows, as well as JMac, that you can step out and take a strategic risk every now and then. But I don't want to see new investors justifying taking strategic risk after strategic risk after strategic risk. And sooner or later, your portfolio is full of strategic risk and not enough J&J and Pepsi. Okay. So keep the opportunity to in check. Use these channels, myself included, for an awareness piece to the market, and live to fight another day. Okay. Your focus for the most part should be on other things in life other than investing. I say that tongue in cheek because I am your ambassador for Self-Directed Investor, and I'm very serious about it. So much so that I find myself extremely, extremely interested to pursue all of these foundations in social media that I've built, and it's getting some attention. It's getting some attention, which is all I could ever ask. And any attention that I garner will be turned back to the group as well. So buckle your seatbelt. We're going to get ready for a ride. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, Matt's talking about putting a little cushion in between there. He just hit that nice milestone. I tell you what, I will use the shout out for Matt to explain a little bit about incentive thresholds. Incentive thresholds for a lot of channel creators, maybe getting to that first 100 subscribers. I know there's a lot of beginning class of YouTube content creators, and they're really good. They're really good. They're really sharp. Hell, they're smarter than I am. They don't have the experience I have. So I'll keep the experience piece, guys, but you're doing a great job, guys and gals out there. Came across a few female investors who have started some new channels. So shout out to you guys as well if you've actually come onto the live stream and taken me up. I think that's important. My whole idea is, if you're going to hear it from a motivator on YouTube and look to build some personal wealth for you, I don't care if it comes from a male or female, as long as it comes from a reputable source. So if you feel comfortable seeking that content and taking that encouragement and motivation from a drop point or a source of information, I'm really an advocate for that, because I'm an advocate for people getting involved in investing and getting off the sideline, man. So I got Eric Weber in the group. Very cool. Very, very cool. Save some cash. Sure. I've just got my foot off the accelerator. Look, man, if I see an opportunity, I'll take it, but I'm pretty good right here. My value plays have been kind of late to the game here. So just seeing a little bit of life out of picks like JP Morgan, Bank of America, names of that have really lagged this recovery. So value has really lagged, and I've been satisfied over the last week to see some of the performance in some of the value names. So it's prudent for me as a value investor, with the bulk of my wealth in value, some large cap growth, of course, and that'll continue to do good. But it's nice to see some of those value plays catch a little bit of tailwind. Hopefully it's not too late and we don't get a correction in the market, which unfortunately is probably going to drag everything down. But we'll live to fight another day on that for sure. The election's right around the corner. I've had a lot of people asking me about this. You should not move your money in relation to political injects, all that. With that said, this to me feels a little different. So, if you do take an objective look at your portfolio, and I know Mike was commenting a little bit how my posture changes a little bit when the stock market does this and it's bumping up against all-time highs. Is this a time you want to be just jamming every penny that you have into the market? Maybe. It can be prudent for the young person who has a high risk tolerance, who's not going to sell at the first sign of volatility. Great. But I always am an advocate of looking at the stock market objectively and taking what it is the stock market has to give you. And I just think the pickings are a little bit slimmer now than they were in the end of March, right? There's a realistic perspective to the stock market that most people have a hard time seeing. And if you have a hard time seeing it, come on, I'll give you my perspective through my lens. Now, I could be completely wrong, but how am I going to be wrong? I'm set up to win in an up market, and I'm set up to win in a down market. It's nice to see Matt's dabbling in some options plays. I need to make a call and get my accounts not even set up for options right now. But what a great play to protect yourself to the downside. It's one of those arts that I'm going to look a little bit further into and see if we can't get a little bit of a manufactured tax-free capital working inside the Roths. I think that'd be awesome. He's doing it. A lot of people are doing it out there. I think it's a great way of generating some income. As a matter of fact, I think learning the options route is probably more prudent and probably a lot more sane. Forgive my language, but then investing in bonds right here. I think bonds are dead money. I really do. I think it's a waste of time. Now, some of you folks out there that have some balanced portfolios, you'll be fine. The statistics are on your side to show that you'll be fine over the long term having a balanced portfolio. But one thing that I was able to glean from the last book that I read, Simple Investing, Simple Wealth, I believe the author's Nick Murray, something like that in the title. I don't have it here handy, but the gist of that is to define safe in investing or define risky investment. What does it mean to be risky? And I think if you were going to look at bonds versus stocks over the short term, you would say that stocks are more risky than bonds in the short term. But investing in and of itself in any product for a foreseeable outcome that you know is going to be less than favorable is hinging on the definition of insane. And bonds are not going to get it done for you long term. So for you young investors out there that are looking at your options, should I invest in stock? Should I invest in ETFs, index funds, bonds, mutual funds, whatever? That's your product spectrum that you're looking at. I think young investors could probably do themselves a favor and try to get their mind wrapped around the options game. It's one of those aces up your sleeve that's going to be there for the rest of your life. All right. So that's my 2 cents on that. Got Miss Bryant here in the group. Very cool. If I wasn't mistaken, I think I saw a tip come through the channel. Very, very much appreciate that. You guys know that this project, every single contribution that goes to the channel, I do not work through YouTube for any other of my elite membership opportunities. I do it on my own with the help of the passive income investor. And I'm forever indebted to Kyle, for sure. Kyle hooked up the Independent Investor channel and will always be one of those ambassadors of the channel. But that's why we rolled that product out, because it provided better value to the members subscribing to that. And those dollars that flow in there help support the channel. There's an expense to what you see. And I make that investment in me and you. So easily justifiable. But nonetheless, those investments are being made, annual subscriptions for certain programs that are run to assist in the quality control that we put out over the channel. And every penny that goes into the channel rolls back into the channel to get us where we're trying to go as an ambassador of self-directed investing. And these ripples that we're making are a byproduct of the support of the community. And I'm being conservative in calling them ripples. But until they come to some level of fruition and they come to some level of reality, I'm knocking right on the door to them. And I'm going to continue to pursue those avenues with some ferocity. But man alive, it's going to be fun because you guys are going to be right there with me on the journey, and I'm ready. I have no fear whatsoever of taking my message to the big time. I have no problem at all. If they want to put me down with CEOs, that's not a problem. We can wrap. Because here's the thing. I am an advocate for the everyday person. I'm an advocate for the 9-to-5 worker. I'm an advocate of the entrepreneur. I'm an advocate of both political classes. I'm an advocate of all people, female, married, doesn't matter where you come from, what ethnic background, what sexual orientation you are from. I am an advocate of all people who want to look to build wealth for themselves, their family, themselves for a better tomorrow. Very simple. And it's a very clean message. And what's ironic to me is I don't hear a lot of that going on, and I listen, and it pisses me off. So this is my opportunity, and it's your opportunity as well to come and hang out with some like-minded people who feel the same. Man alive, guys, it's going to be sure fun to assess this project 5 years down the line. Yeah. 10 years? 15 years? How about 20? That's going to be a damn party. All right. And why not? Why not? Why not seek out that level of personal empowerment? Why not seek out that level of satisfaction in your life, man? You'll never hear me ever get down on success. I celebrate it, I advocate for it, and I expect it on this channel. I really do. And I'm not surprised when it happens. You'll get a very, very simple salute from me and good job. And let's knock down the next milestone. Matt, 1 million. All right. And your net worth's probably knocking on the door if it's not already there. But I know you want to see a nice round number in that account. And yeah, you'll get there. It's inevitable. You'll get there. It's not because of the dimes and pennies in the account. It's not. It's because of your mindset and your approach. And so that's a card that every young investor can take. And Matt's a young investor, but if there's any role model out there that you could aspire to be like in some capacity, maybe you look at Matt or you tune into my channel or a Hidden Freedom Investing or a Gen X or a Jason with JMac, and you're like, dang, I'd like to do that too. That's the idea. That's the idea, is to come on and say, I can do that too, because you can. You can. And we've worked really, really hard to bring that consensus of support, consensus of achieving success, not just wanting it, not just talking about it, not tricking people into it, just giving them a roadmap to success. Very, very simple. Okay. Get your mind right first, and the rest will follow. We'll help you build the path. All you've got to do is walk it, because the opportunities now, guys, are infinite. Opportunities that I didn't have when I started investing. And sometimes I feel like I'm sitting on the sideline watching the show going by with a little grin on my face. And I'm like, damn, this is exciting stuff. And for those people that acknowledge that and are seeking out that for themselves, I'm all about it. For those folks that are not, I'm all about those folks too. Because at the end of the day, all I really want is prosperity for all people. I really do. And I have yet to find a better opportunity outside of real estate that provides that level of transparency to help regular people get the hell ahead. Okay, good stuff. All right, go through here. I'm just going to scour through. We've got about 12 minutes on the fastest 60 minutes on, for sure. And Bob says, my son thought he was rich. I made some easy money anyway. And I do say easy. Stock investing is a lot of fun. Green Power listed at over 20. When it hit the NASDAQ, his account did not show a 7-to-1 reverse. But the $20, sure. You guys are having some fun. And I think that's great. At least I got the sense of that when I was talking to Bob earlier on this week. I usually kick on, and I'll provide an opportunity to kick into a private room with my exclusive group subscribers. If you guys are interested in that, I open up the opportunity for you guys. I do have links in the Facebook group. If you just want to go directly there, it's www.independentinvestorgroup.com. You'll find me there, and you'll find access to those exclusive opportunities. The WhatsApp group is one of those opportunities. The other opportunity that you can watch a tutorial on the Facebook group free of charge is the Zoom meeting opportunity. What a freaking awesome opportunity to bring people together. If you need help with your debt consolidation, if you need just a little bit of motivation, encouragement, etc., I've got it coming out my ears. Okay. I've got it coming out my ears so much so that I need to seek out a relief outlet. Guys, if there's any wondering about what this is about on the live stream, it's about me providing that opportunity to you guys. Not everybody will take it, and that's totally fine. But I'm doing what I need to do by pushing out that opportunity for those people that say, that might be for me. And if you are asking that question, check onto the Facebook group free of charge, man. You can watch that tutorial free of charge to get an idea of what that Zoom opportunity could look like for you. All right. So very, very cool. Very cool. Dang, I had to find my glasses, man. Get them. Come on now. And make sure you're watching the Independent Investor channel for sure. AK says the usual suspects are here. Well, you know, it's funny how people will seek out the support networks for these folks. And I will go out on a limb and say that paying a little bit of attention for a few minutes a week really does render results. It really does. Now, if you're tuning into a Netflix series, if you're tuning into a motivational video, I highly recommend Free Solo for you guys. If you're not into rock climbing, which I'm not, you can still appreciate this and pay attention to what that climber talks about leading up to his free solo ascent of El Capitan in Yosemite. It's incredibly motivating. But you come onto a channel like this in a live stream, and hopefully we were delivering the goods in that people can not only sit across and be somewhat entertained. Yeah, I don't know. The verdict is still out on that. I don't know if I'm very entertaining. Let's just say that I hope you come away with this every week feeling refreshed, feeling a little bit more aware of what is necessary in investing to succeed. It provides that little bit of oomph, that little bit of fuel for your fire to keep you going and provide that little level of support for you. And that's why I do it. All right. Got dividend driver James in the house, man. Very cool to see you. Awesome. And Rebecca Waters, Quest to Fire. She says, Rich Gang. Yeah, I'd like to rap with you guys someday in person to really get an idea of what you think rich really is. Because I've always approached life like I was already rich. And to be quite honest with each and every one of you guys, I actually look at each and every one of you guys as if you're rich as well. And it doesn't quite hit home quite as much unless you can look in the mirror and say the same about yourself. So let's all work on that collectively, man, because you've got to have a successful mindset to make this thing work. You really do. All right. If you don't believe it, tune into somebody else. Okay. But I am a staunch proponent of achieving over than average results from just common people. Yeah. It's the degree of that separation between what you were destined for and what you'll actually achieve by nature of your mental mindset. That's the key. It's all upstairs, all of it. All right. Be happy now. You'll be happy later. All right. Very cool stuff, man. You guys do me a favor, man. Hit the thumbs up button. I'm clicked over to StreamYard, and I guess the thumbs up helps. If you didn't like the live stream, don't hit the thumbs up. All right. If you did like it and you can appreciate what I'm trying to throw down, really appreciate my guest tonight, Mike. That was awesome. Michael came on and said hello. That means a lot to me, man. I would ask that you guys, if you do want to take advantage of the opportunity as well, right at about the 5-minute mark at the end of every live stream, I'm going to drop my very last invite link into the subscription box. And I know that there's at least one person who will be like, you know what? I don't want to be filmed. I'm scared. But Ryan doesn't seem like he seems like a pretty cool guy. I'm going to kick on and see what's up. So there you go. Another free of charge opportunity. Kick on, rap with me. No strings attached, man. If you want to say hello, that's awesome. Like I said, last week was kind of cool. I had the UK gentleman from the UK investor who had been following the channel a long time. So very cool. I only have one thumb to give. So yeah, that's Randy, my boy with Retire with Options. Great to see you, my friend. Hope all is well. I'm sure that it is. Tesla is going to Pluto next. So you'll be happy to know that I think those options will be all right. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I heard Ryan was doing 2 hours tonight. You know me, man. I could do 2 hours. I could do 2 hours. I could do 2 hours if you could pop on here and help me out, Matt, for sure. You haven't been on the channel for a while. We rap all the time now, man. So it's like, we very, very rarely go a week without having some conversations about something. He blew me off on the Hyliion research I asked him to do, but no big deal. He's probably seeking out his opportunity somewhere else. Now we'll go 60 minutes tonight, man. If we do want to plan a 2-hour live stream, I'm down to do that. I'll kick into y'all's live stream. I'm sure you guys have something saucy planned up. You guys always do. You guys keep it fun for sure. I do the best I can, but I also want to make sure that for that new subscriber, man, for that new person that's coming in that's not subscribed, that wants a good, honest introduction, rollout to this opportunity, we owe it to those folks, man. You'll get my best freaking effort. You cannot look at me and determine that I'm somewhat less than just dead serious about this topic. You need to get it right. Find some awareness about it and then make an educated decision as to whether or not it's for you or not. All right. But I provide a testimonial to show how impactful it's been on my life, and hopefully you guys feel the same. I heard that if tonight's episode hits 250 likes, Gen X, so that it'll happen someday. I think Gen X will probably pop on in like 2025 or something like that. No, man, I just have so much respect for Gen X, man. He can do what I think is a he, can do whatever he wants, quite frankly, because what he does, sharing his message and some of his personal stories, he doesn't have to do, and he does it. And that's good enough for me. So that's my 2 cents on Gen X. I've already sent my one-line kudos to Gen X. I knew he'd been there. I look at 10,000 as a very simple milestone for Gen X. 100,000 will be the next one for him. I mean, I'm staring down 25,000, and I thought I was a successful YouTube when I had 200 subscribers and I was talking to that group. Now there's potentially thousands of people who are making their way to my message. I'm humbled. I'm humbled because, again, I never know when that one person is going to stumble through the channel and be like, dang, Ryan, I caught your message. I heard your message and it changed my life. And that's might be a lofty goal, but that's what we're aiming for. Empower one investor at a time. I've said it from the very, very beginning, and we'll continue to pursue that end. Guys, I really want to thank you for your time. We'll close it out at minute 60. Remember, kick over to the Facebook group. I want to see I want to see everybody in here that isn't part of that group, man. I think we just went over 3,500, 3,000. Where it's growing exponentially. So you need to get into the group and be a plank owner in that group, man. It's freaking free of charge. Nothing in this life is free of charge. Nothing. Most of the products that I roll out are free of charge. Follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. Keep up with me and the family. Yeah, I'm a proud family man. I get a little bit more personal on that product. And then the diamond in the rough for sure is the podcast. You're definitely going to want to go over. I asked you guys to come through last Friday, and holy smokes, you came through for me. I can't thank you enough. We rocked right over 1,000 views. What a fantastic opportunity. And as that evolves and grows and gets bigger, I enjoy making that content. So you're going to want to stay tuned. I've got a few in the queue. They're ready to rock. We'll continue to roll out that access. And then finally, independentinvestorchannel.com and independentinvestorgroup.com are the two websites. Social media, go find me, like the channel. Very cool. Great to have you on the channel. Kick on with me afterwards. I'll sign off. I'll see you next Friday, Eastern Standard Time on the Independent Investor channel. Come be a guest for sure. Guys, be well. Have a great weekend. And we'll catch you next Friday, 9 o'clock. Guys, take it easy. Peace.